Do you remember that old saying, does the bear shit in the woods? There's a story today of karma, how the bear that shits in the woods ended up killing the man who tried to kill the bear. It's hard to know, isn't it, who's the man with the rifle and who's the bear in 2022. It seems so many people boo-hoo and play the victim, it's hard to point fingers at those that we should really be blaming. Who is to blame in the Rochdale, Rotherham, Oldham situation where at least 1,400 young white girls were raped and groomed by young Pakistani men, mostly in these grooming gangs? Who is to blame? The men themselves or the authorities, the police and the councils who let them get away with it? Yesterday, South Yorkshire Police released their independent inquiry into Rochdale, and I've tried to read it, this self-flagellating load of bullshittery that basically says sorry over and over again, but actually at the end of it, nobody is held responsible. Nobody is actually fingered as the person who did it. And as far as I can see, nobody is going to prison or being held accountable. I'll do much. This is The Voice of Reason. It's Alex Belfield for a Thursday. You know, this report really says everything I've been saying for decades on the air, that there are things that go on in our society that people choose to overlook because it's too uncomfortable due to racial, religious and other factors that they don't want to get involved in. We know, don't we, with Rochdale and Rotherham, that the reason that these girls continue to be raped is because the authorities didn't want to upset the minorities, these communities where these grooming gangs came from. It is extraordinary to me that in 2022 this is still happening. Just yesterday, this story, look, is in the newspapers, and even abroad we see different levels of abuse of children and underage women, and what do people do? Pay their way out of it. Bit like Prince Andrew, who was accused of a very serious crime, and what did he do? Use mummy and friends' money to buy his way out of it, millions deep. I don't think you should ever be allowed to buy your way out of any criminality. Do you? Do you think that there is any defence ever that anyone in any case should be able to buy anonymity, buy freedom, buy innocence by simply putting money in the jar? This reminds me of the Catholic Church. This reminds me of at the end of the service, they hand round the little bowl, and if you put a fiver in, that somehow takes away your sins. I talk about self-flagellation all the time, and people don't often know what it means. It's the old religious thing of self-whipping to somehow make it right. By beating yourself, it makes it go away. I don't think anything will make this go away. The report, which is pages and pages deep of all kinds of crap that is basically just tickling the tits of this story, which could be summarized in one paragraph. Because this was Pakistani young men and white young girls, we didn't want to say or do anything in case it caused racial harm within the community. Well, we needed racial harm to protect the young fucking women. It's as simple as that. If only somebody had have said something and done something at the very top, maybe these women who are thousands deep, I suspect it's still going on today, we know it's 1,400, maybe they would have been protected. And lives have been ruined. I believe people are dead because of this. I believe many lives and families have been destroyed. And what do? Write report after report after report. I'm telling you, it is not worth the paper it's written on. If they'd have written this on toilet roll, to wipe it on your arse would be a compliment. Because again, nobody's held responsible, ever in these situations. And it sickens me to the core we live in a country where no one is held responsible. These are the kind of subjects we talk about every day at the Secret VOR Club. It makes people too uncomfortable here, so I have to edit myself, take out certain sections for the YouTube video. You can hear me raw, unedited, uncensored, and unregulated. We are the only unregulated and uncensored broadcaster in Britain, as Piers and Nolan and Ferrari and James Whale, that big fat pig, and Gunt and all those other people are all regulated by Ofcom. Even Julia Hartley-Brewster's Jelly Wobblers come under the Ofcom gaze. Talking of gays, we talk about LGBTQ month tomorrow at alexbelfield.com.